Welcome back. Still, we are on the UEG-STA policy debate. I'll start with you first. Introduce yourself first.
Thank you, Mr. Moderator. My name is Ismail Asedi, a native of Madiana village, where I started my primary school education and completed that in 2016, then proceeded to Brufut Upper Basic School for my junior secondary school, and then completed that in 2019. There I proceeded to Mindau Senior Secondary School and then completed my senior level in 2022. And today I am a proud student of the University of Education pursuing an advanced diploma in education, primary, pursuing English language and SES, a final year student. In brief, this is Ismail Asedi.
To my left hand side now. Can you please introduce yourself?
Greetings, viewers, and thank you, Mr. Moderator, for giving me the platform to express myself. I go by the name Modu Ejob. Um, I attended my primary school at Demfai Basic Cycle School, and then my upper basic too. I also then proceed to the great Modu Armitage, where I serve as the senior sergeant from 2022 to 2023, and then 2023 I got my admission here in the University of Education, the Gambia. I am pursuing my diploma in education, that is secondary, majoring SES and PE. And here today I stand proudly to declare my intent to run for the Information and Communication Minister under the mighty banner of Team Coalition. Thank you so much.
Okay, still back to you. Like, what are the rules and responsibilities of information and communication minister?
Thank you so much for that question. As an aspiring Information and Communication Minister, I'll be very happy to be asked the rules of the Information Minister. According to the Constitution of our beloved association, Chapter 3, Section 20, the Information Minister is responsible of publicity and advocating for students' welfare and also disseminating information to the students. And second, the Information Minister is responsible of compiling all the activities of the Student Teachers Association, compiling all the activities and publicizes on a monthly basis. Thank you.
Thank you for that. And then back to you, Mr. Sedi. Can you tell us some of the roles and responsibilities of information and communication minister?
Thank you, Mr. Moderator. Uh, as far as the roles and responsibilities of an information minister is concerned, you cannot start anywhere other than the fact that they are responsible for the dissemination of accurate and timely information to the general student body. This is the first to start with. And the other important role of an information minister is to ensure that you serve as the focal point, you serve as the first point of contact, you serve to ensure that you protect the image and reputation of the council at large.
Yeah, still back to you again, Mr. Sedi. Like, why do you think you are the best person or the best candidate fit, in this position?
Thank you. I like that question. Why do I think I am the best for this position? Uh, the answer will not be far fetched. The answer is here with us. As an information minister, the fourth thing that has pushed me to run for this position is the audibility and clarity I have in speech. You cannot be in this position. You stammer when you are asked the question. You stammer when you are told or asked as to what are some of the things that happen here. Stammer, I am not talking about natural stammerers, but I'm of course talking about those whom you know, due to the lack of competence, when you ask them the question, they find it difficult to answer. That is not me. I am somebody who is clear when he speaks, who is clear and audible in speeches. This is one of the reasons why I think I am second to none when it comes to vying for those who are vying for this position.
Thank you for that. And then now to you, why do you think like you are the best candidate for this position?
To repair and to address the things that have been rotten, our students that have been misinformed, our institution that is not represented as expected in the information ministry is some of the things that actually push me to vie for this position, because I think vying for this position really needs commitment, really needs innovation. But we don't vie for positions just to be sharing a photocopied, copy and paste dispatches. We want to share informations that are clear, precise, and understandable for all students. This is almost the highest level of education in the Gambia here, when we refer to the University of the Education. Um, so therefore, I think it is now enough for that rotten and unprecedented and parallel development that has been existing in the Gambia college here, one-sided development. We actually need people that will be giving us unprecedented and unparalleled development within the four corners of our school. Today, I stand here to tell all my fellow students that it is now time to differentiate who are the true leaders and who are just there for fame, or who are just there to sell their image. We have passed that level of education whereby the students will be bamboozled, the students will be fooled at their young stage or at their young stay in the Gambia College here. So therefore, I call all my fellow students to rally behind Team Coalition, support us, and therefore we change the narrative of this institution that has been dilapidated. So thank you.
Yeah, still back to you again for the fourth question. Like, it is believed that every candidate, like you as a candidate, you have your policies and programs. Yeah. Can you tell us, or you take us through some of the policies and your programs that you would like to implement when you are elected in office? You have
Yes,
10 minutes for that.
thank you so much, Mr. Moderator, for that wonderful question. I will be very glad to face my fellow students and talk to them about the policies that I want to implement when I am voted in as the Information and Communication Minister. And here are some of my realistic and attainable policies that I will want to implement. First, I will start with timely information. Informations to be up to date. Informations that will reach students at the time that the information is needed. And second, on my policies is to encourage digital communication and media engagement. This world that we're living in right now, the digital media has been making communication easy between two parties or two group of people or one group of people. So therefore, I will make sure that I promote digital communication when entrusted with the position of the information and communication minister. And third, on my policies here include transparency and feedback. Over the years, our students have been blinded because not all activities that are carried out within the association are being shared to the students. And according to the Constitution, Chapter 3, subsection 20, that monthly compilation of the activities of the association should be disseminated and be transparent to all students. So therefore, I call on my fellow students to ensure transparency and feedback of informations and activities that are concerning the association as far as students are part of the association. This is an association that is generally and it includes all students. So therefore, not just one set of people need to know what are some of the activities that are going on within our STA. If you're not close to the STA, almost you don't get the information because I am one of them and I am almost online 24/7. So it is important that we be transparent to make sure that we give out feedback on any activity that we carry out. So I call on all my fellow students to rally behind Team Coalition for transparency and unbiased feedback. I therefore proceed to my fourth policy, which is public relation and image building, to make sure that the images of the students are being well built and to also make sure that the image of our STA is well built and also the image of our beloved UEG. So therefore, I again call my fellow students to come and rally behind Team Coalition support, and on the 5th of February, you all come and cast your vote for Team Coalition, for change, for development, for uncorrupt leaders. I therefore conclude with my final policy here of the evening, and I will give more policies on the 3rd of February, and I call on all my fellow students to come on the 3rd and then listen, not only listen, but to see what are some of the realistic and unrealistic policies. Listen to us and then we give you a very real and attainable policies. Therefore, I come to my final policy of the evening, that is record keeping and documentation. Record keeping, I'll make sure that the records of the association are well kept and also publicized to the student whenever the need arises. So thank you so much, Mr. Moderator, for giving me this opportunity to talk to my fellow students that could not have the access to come to STA and they know exactly what are the things that are happening in our institution. Thank you.
Yeah, thank you so much for that. And then back to you, Mr. Sedi. You actually have 10 minutes for this. Like, can you tell us some of your policies and programs that you have planned to implement when you are elected in office?
Uh, Thank you, Mr. Moderator. Uh, I think there are, of course, a lot of errors to be corrected, but then we go ahead with our policy before we get into that. But notwithstanding, I'll have to say that the word is attainable, not attainable.
No,
Attain that which can be attained
just
is
goes
attainable.
stick to
So one of
our
my
rules. Yeah.
policies, the first one I will have to discuss is accurate and timely dissemination of information across all programs on campus. That is the first one, and that should be the first one. Because we have realized that the information ministries that have passed have really tried to ensure that this is effective on campus here. But of course, they are humans. There have to be loopholes. There have to be problems. And that is why I keep saying the difference between a leader and a follower is innovation. He who cannot innovate solutions cannot be a leader. You have to be leading, see problems, come up with solutions. That's what we refer to as innovation. So, what do I say about this particular thing? Is we have to ensure that those programs on campus that are feeling the underrepresentation in their area are also well represented. The Islamic section, the French section, they keep complaining, and we have to listen to them. And that is why this particular policy makes sense. It will be expanded later. Second, people think that information with regard to the campus only affects people here and therefore it has to be internal alone. No, I am saying no to that today. And what I am saying is we have to cross the boundaries of our institution, partner with TVs, partner with radio stations to ensure that these people who are out there also wanting to know something about our institution are also well fed with the information. Uh, because we have realized that the information minister has to be the focal point, has to be the one who protects the image and the reputation of the institution. Now, partnering with these people, one may say, how is that possible? But it is simple. Unless you do not understand how things work, you get to them. For example, here already, we are lucky as an institution that the current president of our STA works at Paradise TV. Partnering with him becomes so easy. So, in expanding this, you will realize that when those, for example, those Arabic students I have talked about, already it is already in the pipeline and it is working already. We are not those people who just start working when things are at their disposal. No, we start things at the right time. And that is why, for your information and for the information of the Arabic students, they are being represented right now because our deputy for this particular position, whom we have selected already, is from their section. And are we stopping there? No, we are saying we are not stopping there. Why? Because there are French students who also need to be represented. How do we represent them? We will realize that the Constitution allows you as a minister to have committee members. How many? 8 of them. Now, these 8 committee members, bringing all of them from one section will be unfair. That is why we deemed it necessary to ensure that we bring some of them from the sections that are feeling underrepresented, and that is the French students. Again, one may ask how beneficial this particular policy of yours will be to the students. I say it will be because they were the ones complaining that there are always problems and lapses within the lines of the information that is being said. Now, having people in your ministry who are going to look into those loopholes, who are going to look in between the lines to ensure that there are no problems, will of course have a great effect on the livelihood of these affected people. So, in short, I would like to give you these very two important points of mine until the rebuttals are around. Thank you.
Okay, thank you for that. And then back to you again, Mr. Sedi. You have laid down your policies and programs that
Yes.
if you are elected, things that you will like to implement. So can you tell us how do you intend to implement those policies and programs?
Thank you once again, Mr. Moderator. The first one I have spoken about is the timely and accurate dissemination of information across all programs on campus. So, how do I aim to get this? I told you that the program it is already in the pipeline that for the first time we have Arabic student deputizing an information minister. Many a time when we write dispatches, I work in the current information ministry. When we write dispatches, we automatically translate them to those languages. And there are sometimes problems with regard to those translations. I cannot discern whether it is right or wrong. Why? Because I don't understand Arabic. If it is French, I cannot discern either. Why? Because I don't understand that language. Now I say, if I am to be voted into office, my policy, my number one policy is to go to these departments, ensure that the people who are well eloquent, vocal, and understand the rules of the grammar of the language in which they are affected, we bring them closer to ourselves as part of our committee so that whenever we translate, we ask them, oh, Mr. Njai, look into this, see whether there are errors. Oh, Madam Fati, look into this, see whether there are errors. And if that is done, we share the information so that the lapses that they have been facing with regard to information will become a thing of the past. Now, partnering with the TV stations and radio stations is also an attainable one because I told you that we already have an edge towards having that particular one done. We are always in contact with Mr. Boja as to what are some of the things we are supposed to follow in order to ensure that we have partnership with them so that our voice is not heard only within the premises of this university but even outside. The voice, the reputation, or the image of our institution will be well protected even outside.
Okay. Thank you so much, Mr. Sedi. And then now to you, like you have laid down your policies and program. Like, can you tell us how are you going to achieve those policies and programs if you happen to be the winner?
Thank you so much, Mr. Moderator. I will first say I am very ashamed that we have seen an aspiring candidate who served as an committee member for 2 years, I can say, and then realize that the Arabic students and then the French students are having these difficulties to understand some of the messages because of the overlaps that are happening after being directly translated. So that is a big blow and so incompetency as a leader. And I'll come to my policy implementation. One of the policies that I mentioned earlier is timely information. And how can we attain this, that there will be timely information? In the constitution, we are allowed to have 8 committee members, and working with these 8 committee members, we could actually process the information to an extent that the students could actually understand the information and release it on time without any problem. And I want to talk about also the committee members. The committee members here, we have three different languages that we're studying here in the university. We have English students, we also have Arabic students, and we have French students. I will make sure that my committee members come from all these different areas. And moving to my second policy, how I would like to implement it, that is digital communication and media engagement. I'll make sure that we try to partnership with different televisions and then radios in the Gambia here. How can we actually partner with them? Through constructive dialogue. And we have seen people that are actually working with these media outlets. We could actually reach to these people and then talk to them how can we actually partner with these people to make sure that we get our activities outside the four corners of our beloved institution. And third is transparency and feedback. How can we make sure that our informations are transparent? Transparency here, when we talk about it, is to give an account for the activities that we have carried out, for the students to know that exactly these are the things that our council is doing. We have to get it down, publicize it, and then every logical mind can understand that yes, these are the realities that happen. And also make sure that we build the image of the institution. And how can we build this image? To make sure that our students are well informed, not to carry out miscommunication. One of the most serious things that we could actually do to our societies is giving out a wrong information. When we carry out wrong information to our societies, these are the things that could actually destroy the name of our institution. And also, the same thing will go to this when we talk about the partnership of participating with radio stations and also televisions. We could actually build our image through those platforms. And final is record keeping. We make sure that we have our records safely kept through these laptops, through these phones, and also through writings on books. We could keep these records of the activities that are actually happening in our association. Thank you.
Yeah, thank you so much for that. And then now this has led us to the rebuttal session. Like I said earlier, you both have 5 minutes for that to ask your question and then the answer both included that 5 minutes. And that's now I'll start with you. You can ask your question.
Thank you. I would like to ask you, in this university of ours, we have people that are differently able. We have people that have disabilities. Some people have the problem of hearing. Some have the problem of um, talking. Yes, we also have some have the problem of seeing. So if you are to give out an information, you have a student who could not hear, neither to see, what are you going to do to make sure that this person have the accurate information and on time?
Awesome. Thank you very much for that question. With regard to persons with disabilities, anything that has to do with them, I will like to inform you that no minister has to do anything with regard to those people without consulting the Minister for Persons with Disabilities. We have a minister already for that. So this minister is the person you have to be in consultation with. And then He is supposed to give you directives as to what you are supposed to do. The number is not too much many a time. So the number of persons with disability, they have their own forum, they have their own WhatsApp pages, and the minister knows how he deals with these people. As a result of that, all you have to do as a minister when disseminating information, and you do not want to leave out a single person, you have to reach out to the minister responsible for persons with disabilities so that your dissemination becomes fair.
So you cannot disseminate that information without the Minister of Person with Disabilities?
Thank you for the question again. He is asking whether we cannot disseminate the information without including that particular person. You see, we are not intruders. We do not transgress into the work or responsibilities of others. They may feel or deem it in another way around. Therefore, you are supposed not to do that. You have to understand your role. If you don't understand your role, you mix things up. This is his responsibility. The thing comes through you, but then you have to consult him. How can you say, no, 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 I have the... No, things don't work like that. We have protocols, my brother.
Thank you. I'm not done. I'm not done answering that. Yes, I'm not done. When giving out your policies, you said you make sure that um, message reach to all students. You were not exclusive there. So why are you being exclusive right now?
Please qualify your question.
I think this is a simple question that I think every human with well eco-minded can actually understand. I said you were not exclusive because right now you are saying those people will be handled by the person responsible of the people with disabilities. So I'm saying why were you not exclusive when saying that?
Thank you. Normally, when I have debates, when I have discussions, in fact, I don't call this debate, I call it presentation of policies. So whenever I receive insults from my opponents, I take it wholeheartedly. Uh, I don't insult, but when they insult, I show them maturity. You cannot, you cannot tell me I am referring to humans. That is an insult.
No,
but
just
then I will not insult back. I am mature.
answer the question and then
You're dodging the question.
When you
just answer the question.
when I have the right to ask you to go back to your question when I do not understand, Mr. Moderator.
Yeah, that's right.
Exactly. Ask him to qualify the question.
You asked me to qualify the question. That means the question is not qualified.
Allow him to answer the question.
In fact, let him qualify the question.
I'm here to motivate people. If you have the time to be sitting here to be repeating a single question that even kindergartens can understand, I will not be so low to be repeating those questions.
No, he have the right to ask you to repeat the question. Yes, because at the beginning, that's what I told you guys.
Yeah.
If you ask a question and the individual said that he did not answer, understand what you were talking about.
But he just gave an answer here. He just gave an answer here. So please, next time, before you answer a question, make sure you exactly know what the question is. Understanding the question is part of answering. So I was saying,
thank you so much for that.
Yes.
The time has already allowed. Actually, I give you guys 5 minutes for that, and then back to you, Mr. No, you have only 2 questions in that 5 minutes. Yeah, so you can ask your question. You actually have 5 minutes for that.
Yes, within the 5 minutes, I have the right to expand my question to wherever I want, so long the time frame does not elapse. I hope that is clear. Mr. Moderator, it is disappointing that people ask questions they don't understand. Why were you exclusive? Why were you exclusive? Qualify it. As simple as that, and you are being irritated. It is sad. So my question is,
let me address that part. My
question.
Ask your question.
My question is, My brother, how do you ensure the effectiveness of the downwards information, upwards information, and the horizontal type on campus, so long you are going to be the information minister as you wish?
Can you repeat your question?
He said I should repeat. How do you ensure the effectiveness of the downwards information, upwards information, and the horizontal type?
I don't understand your question.
You don't understand your question, my question. I will ask. I will ask you.
Okay.
It is my time to ask you questions,
Ask,
Mr. Moderator.
You can ask.
Mr. Moderator,
Allow him
it is
to
my
ask his
time to
questions.
ask
Yeah,
questions.
allow him
alright?
to ask his questions.
We cannot be talking over each other, or otherwise our speeches will overlap,
Sure.
and that will avoid the audience body from getting the essence of the discussion. Uh, when I talk about the downwards information, as an aspiring candidate or as an approved candidate, you ought to know what a downwards information means. And that is the information you are receiving as an information minister from the heads of department downwards to your masses or subjects. And then the upwards means the one you are receiving from the subjects you are leading towards the heads of department or administration. And the horizontal is among you, council, or between you and the the masses. So take that as a lecture. My second question, should I give? Should he answer?
Yeah, you
Okay.
you have time for one question.
I have one more.
One more.
My boss, again, I ask you this question. What is your understanding when revealing or releasing a dispatch? What do you understand about the word perusal in that? There is a term called perusal in releasing a dispatch. What does it stand for?
Yeah, thank you so much for that question. I would also like to talk about this. It is important. You're talking to students, and to be too sescopedalic here doesn't has any importance here. Okay, so coming to the question here, you said, how can I actually get the information from the head of departments to the masses, like to the people that are following that will actually need the information and within my council. When information comes, it has been said the head of departments will be reached out to make sure that we actually get the information from them through communication. It can be through text messages. Some you have to go to the offices there and get the information. And if you're also giving it to my masses, like the followers, I'll be writing dispatches and then send it to the followers. So do I answer your question?
You tried. I will give that.
Yeah.
5 over 10 years.
Thank you so much.
Do I
Yeah.
answer your question?
You tried.
I want to know. Do I answer your question?
No, it's not your time to ask. I
No.
ask you. You tried. I'm even helping you to answer. I shouldn't be answering. It's
No.
my time to.
No, sorry,
Exactly.
sorry.
Yeah, because
You're asking me.
no,
Sorry.
it's important we clarify
It's okay.
clarify
But
this.
I
Thank you
clarified
so
by
much. Thank
saying
you so
tried.
much.
Thank you.
Thank you. I believe he answered your
Yes,
question.
my second question is not answered.
Then you have to.
Okay. In releasing a dispatch, there's what we call perusal. The general student body may not know this, and I am not putting them at a corner to know this. All right. But as somebody who is an approved candidate of a particular team,
Sorry.
should
Time
know.
has elapsed.
Thank you.
Time has elapsed.
Thank
Thank you so much for that. Yeah, welcome back again. We are here with another candidate. I believe they are vying for the position of Secretary General. Can you please introduce yourself?
Great. Hello, viewers. Great. Thank you very much for that question. My name is Amadou Jallo, a second year student, Advanced Diploma Secondary, major in English language and management. I to go through the ranking of my schooling. That is, I did my primary and then upper at Abuko, and then later completed at John Pickering, whereas I served as the head boy. Later went to the University of University IOU, International Open University, where I am studying business administration, and then I am now on my fourth year. But then when I was at third year, I tried all means to come to the college here, whereas I love teaching and then serving. However, here I am, and then I have been serving a lot of organizations for now. That is, I am a voluntary work, a volunteer who works within organizations, that is within the Gambia Red Cross Society, as currently serving as the youth development chairperson of KM Red Cross branch. The same time being part of the PIA, have served and then did all to my way of RP, what we call it, those who knows PIA. The same time going to the way of peace ambassadors, and then now we help our young volunteers to see how best they have been recruited. This is who it is. Here is Amara Jallo. Thank you.
Thank you. And now to my left hand side, sir, can you please introduce yourself?
Well, thank you so very much, Mr. Honorable. And I go by the name Ibrahim Aketa, alias Professor, the Voice of Dust. And just to go through my educational background, that is, I did my upper basic school and SO LBS, where I serve as a senior counselor, then proceed to my senior secondary school at SO Senior Secondary School, where I also serve as a secondary senior counselor. And I also proceed to the Gambia College, currently the University of Education. I am also a facilitator of public speaking when it comes to team leadership and public speaking, and currently serving as the chairperson for Global Platform the Gambia, currently launching at the Gambia College here, and also serving under the Gambia Red Cross Society as the the District Secretary General for Lower Nyomid District. Currently also serving as the President for Team Leadership and Public Speaking in the Gambia College chapter, and also a national facilitator on the Team Leadership and Public Speaking Management Board as part of the facilitators on the Management Board. Serving also serving as the Acting Secretary General for Team Leadership and Public Speaking NBR TLPS chapter. So basically, this is me. Thank you.
Yeah, thank you so much. Still with you. And then, what are the roles and responsibilities of a Secretary General?
Well, basically, these are things that that even if you wake me in the deep side of the night, I will able to recite such rules and responsibilities. That is one of the responsibility of the Secretary General. Is the Secretary General is responsible to provide a written agenda in consultation with the President. That is, he or she shall have a signatory board to the account, and that he or she shall take meetings of records, agendas, discussion in order for proper documentation. So.
Okay, thank you so much. And then now to Mr. Jallo. Yeah, what are the roles and responsibilities of a Secretary General?
Great. I thank you very much, moderator. Then to tell you the role and responsibilities, that is the functions of the Secretary General, I have to take it directly from the Constitution. That is, we quote in code, that is Chapter 3, Section 14, which talks about the responsibility of the Secretary General. However, to mention few, there are a lot of them and with different sections, but then I have to focus with Section 14, which stated that is the age all sub-associations are under the domain of the Secretary General. We also move again to the same Section 14, Chapter 3, subsection G, which also stated one thing is the Secretary General is a signatory to the account. The same time again, the same section, subsection D, which also state the Secretary General is responsible for filing or correspondence to all council meetings or to all respondents, that is letters that are to go out of council. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Mr. Jallo. Still, I will go back to you again. Why do you think like you are the suitable candidate for this position?
Great. I believe I am the suitable candidate for this position. Basically, why do I say so? Because the experience I gathered, not within the School of Education here alone, even outside to international. Within the section I have coded, that is Section 14, subsection H, whereas all sub-associations are under the domain of the Secretary General. And then I have been serving organizations, starting from the Gambia Red Cross Society, continuing to the PIA, to the Peace Ambassadors, GF International, we name them, it continues. I believe we have viewers that are watching, but then I believe we have some people that spectators that are around. my certificates that I have within these organizations, I believe it's not a matter of like bragging, but I can give each of them, and then I still have a lot of them that can stay in my room. So this is why I believe I am that person that is qualified to be the Secretary General of the 10th Executive Council of STA. The same time we talk about it, that is now we come to the School of Education. I am also, because I believe I have served under the CRC as a commissioner and then as a ASG, which have served, that is to compile the constitution. I believe. And then one thing again is, before you are the Secretary General, you're supposed to be the mastermind of that council. Why? Because you are responsible to interpret every constitution or every section of the constitution to the cabinet members. You are there responsible to see how best rule of law is going through. Because one thing is, if somebody does not understand the constitution, it will be difficult, because whatever you have to write, you have to quote it directly from the constitution. That is why I believe one thing is, I am qualified to be the Secretary General, and then I have served under the 9th Executive Council as the Secretary under the Education Ministry. I thank you.
Thank you so much, Mr. Jallo. And then now to you, Mr. Why do you think you are the best candidate for this position?
Well, I believe leadership is not about the size, it's not about the BS also. It sounds funny when my opponent is saying he is the one that is suitable for the positions. I believe leadership is about the maturity. Leadership is about the service, the sacrifice, the responsibility given. And with all my leadership qualities, I have served under the Gambia Red Cross Society, currently coordinating the whole Lower Nyame district as the Assistant District Secretary, currently also serving under Team Leadership and Public Speaking, which was introduced in the Gambia College in 2019 by Honorable Babu Isar, currently serving as the President for Team Leadership and Public Speaking Gambia College chapter, and also a facilitator for Team Leadership and Public Speaking, where I lecture him, his brother, under Public Speaking and our last Alberta camp. When it comes to such rules, I have also a Gambia College rather. I have also served as a committee member of the Information and Communication Minister of the 43rd Executive Council. So with all these things gathered, I believe I am suitable for this thing. And I'm also a writer and activist, because I can remember there was a time when the GCSU organized a writing activity, which I have took part, and I was the first person to become the best writer in the Gambia College. You understand? So I believe I am somebody that know how to control and doesn't need my pen anyhow. So that's why I am fit for this position. Thank you.
Yeah, thank you so much. Back to you again. Like, can you take us through some of the policies and programs that you have laid down, like when you are elected into that office, the things that you will implement?
I will unbox 3 of my policies. That is, if the students of the University of Education want to know more about my policies, on the 3rd of February, they should meet us at the Gambia College Hall, whereas I will compartmentalize him into pieces. But I will say these 3 policies. There is one, I will have a collaboration arrangement. That is, I will sign a contract within the institution, because Gambia, what I realized, the University of Education, they have only signed contracts within the sub association. But if I am voted into office, because I know I am the best candidate that is suitable for these positions with my leadership qualities. That is, if I am voted into office, this is the first policy that I am going to have, because when it comes to School of Education, we are all educators, understand, and we are also going to serve the students, the upcoming future generations. So when it comes to School of Education also, some will be sent back to the field, some will not go to the field, some will be posted to the regional offices, some will be serving as cluster monitors, some will be serving as school-based monitors. So if I am voted into office, one, that is, I will work in consultation with the president and the vice president in order to levy scholarship, so that at least we are going back to to make a partnership program where such students of School of Education are going to take part in this intensive program. That is, 2 of my policy is, because I don't want my opponent to steal my policies. That is, 2 of my policies is, I will make let's say, when it comes to University School of Education, the constitution is something that that is very critical. Understand? If I am voted into office, I will make sure I work in collaboration with the advisory board, because he is the only competent person that can lecture the students or teach the students about the rules and regulations that is governing the constitution of the University of Education. So if I am voted into office, I will decide to work with advisory board. That is, we are going to make programs whereas we are going to educate students about the constitution, because ignorance of the law is not an excuse. That is two. Three of my policies, that is, I'm going to make a partnership, because I realize that University of Education have made partnership within the institution. But if I am voted into office as the upcoming Secretary General, I will make sure I make partnership with international institution. That is, I will also work in collaboration with the Education and Research Minister, together with the Social and Welfare Minister, together with the Gender and Health Minister. Whereas we are going to have as a partnership with international institution, where we are going to sell School of Education outside to the wider world. Because when it's come to this partnership, I only realize that School of Education is making partnership within the country here, without making international partnership there. So fellow students, I believe I am fit for this position. That is, if I am voted into office, three of these policies that I have stated here, I think these three policies will make the students' body to realize that I am competent more than my opponent. Thank you.
Thank you so much for that. And then now to you, Mr. Jallo. You actually have 10 minutes for that.
Thank you.
Can you take us to some of the your policies and programs?
Thank you very much. Before I just go to my policies, I want to say I am a proud mentor. Why? Because the one that trained him, that is Babu Sar, I trained Babu with Usman. So basically, I am proud, then I can say he is my disciple. Why? Because I trained the one that trained him. Yes, Babu Sar passed through the college here, but I trained Babu Sar. I believe he might be watching, because I'll be sending him the link. Babu, thank you very much, Babu, that I can say. Yes, because one thing is, I am proud, I can see where you're taking the knowledge. Thank you. Now coming back to my policies. Basically, which is one, I just don't want to come up with policies, too much policies. I just want to come up with attainable policies. I am not a politician that just give policies just randomly. The first policy that I want to talk about, that is, I will still go back to the Constitution, Section H, the sub-associations. Because one thing is, you can't just be up there and then doing one or two things. One thing is, you have to decentralize. I am one that focus on decentralization. And by decentralizing, it's more of focusing on the sub-associations that we have. I believe, if not all, but the most of our students belong to a team. That is, whether the SES club, you name them, it continues. The first policy will be, in my first 30 days in office, I will make sure all the sub-associations, all their programs are put on a paper. In the first 90 days, I will make sure they have all partners outside, if not 100%, but at least 75% of the sub-associations or clubs that we have within the School of Education, in the School of Education here, they have that partners outside. Within the country, I am not just going to jump out of the country. That is the first 90 days. We see how best again, before I leave office, because one thing is, I am vast experience, I am not within only the Gambia, that is if you follow me well at Facebook. You understand, I travel around, that is to make connections, and then I am sent around. To make sure, to see how best the Gambia benefits into certain organizations. Secondly, we have these organizations here, these sub-associations. We need to see how best we put them up. Immediately you put them up, it's like you're putting the students up. The second policy is, because I believe he is ranting on basically saying like international donors and blah 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 blah. We should have seen the work earlier before today. I will mind. So then now the second policy goes back again, that is having partnership with organizations. I am somebody that started organizations. I am somebody that have worked with organizations. I've been having partnership with other organizations. That is, we have our activities fully funded. Because one thing is, this the other ministers will be like, we'll be doing this, we'll be doing this. But then if you don't have an experienced Secretary General to help you write ups, to have an experienced Secretary General that can help you connect out there, it will be difficult these policies to be implemented. So these are the two policies that at least I want to come with on my first on my first 90 days. Not like jumping to my 9 months that we have to spend office. I thank you.
But thank you so much, Mr. Jallo. Still, I'll go back to you again. You have laid down your policies and programs. Can you tell us how do you intend to attend to those policies?
Thank you very much. The question is, how can I able to attain these policies? That is, how can I able to achieve them?
Yeah.
One thing again is I go back to the sub associations and then the clubs. That is to see how best they are connected to the related associations that are out there. We have a lot of associations. For example, usually the ones that we have here, we are sub associations outside there. The SS Club, most of them, the long distance that they went for their tour is Guinea-Bissau, Senegal. To see how best they can have that rapport, that MOU with other countries. How to see how best they have that MOU with other universities out there, whereas they can go outside and then see how best. This is it. Because one thing is, I believe the connection I have within countries, within the government, I believe this is attainable. And secondly, that is to see how best we have connections within, that is the STA office itself, to have connection. How best can we able to connect with other offices and then see our most of our activities are funded. That is one thing is, I believe that my mentor always tell me is like your network is your network. That is how connected are you to people. And there is no possible point that I have seen my opponent being connected out there. I'm not going to say he's not, because he's my younger brother. But then one thing what I'm going to say is, I am not certainly sure he is connected as I am. And one thing is, it's not a matter of just mounting a position, just to be called as the SG. But one thing is, what can you bring back to the office? I thank you.
Thank you so much, Mr. Jallo. And then now to you, Mr. How do you intend to attend those policies that you have just mentioned?
Well, I will also remind my opponent here that is, at first I stated that leadership is not about the size. Leadership is about the responsibility that is given. Leadership is about the maturity. Leadership is about the experience that is being had. Understand? And I believe, because I was saying about I will make a partnership, but once my opponent said something, that is, before having the 3 months, working the 3 months, why not you work for the 3 months before you work in the for the 9 months rather, the how to call it, the 6 months rather. So he was saying something like I should not focus on the partnership, and he mentioned something that that he said the partnership, which he is still in my policies. I believe my opponent here is using quoting from the constitution, removing such rules and regulations, using it as what as policies. Those are not policies, those are responsibilities that are given. Policies are something that that you are going to implement to the general student body. You understand? So if you don't know, I am somebody that is a writer. I am somebody that know how to control and dazzle with my pen anyhow in the paper. So I believe I am fit for this position. So regarding to what you are saying, I said, how am I going to implement such policies? That is, if I am voted in the office, I will base it on the constitution. That is, one, I will work in collaboration with the council, because I'm not going to work together. This is anything that I am going to do, I will work together with the council. That is, first I will in consultation with the president and the VP. Then together, if matters gets what, then we are going to call a council meeting, whereas we are going to discuss the agendas in order to maintain a proper and regular UEG. Because my opponent here was serving under the education minister. So why is he bringing himself low, so low, by leaving such roles and responsibilities out to the education minister, bringing himself so low to vie for the president of the secretary general, which is a big action. And thank you.
Thank you so much for that. And then I'll still go back to you. Like, we have seen that in every election, electorates are divided into different camps. So can you tell us, when you are elected as the Secretary General of the Student Teachers Association of the University of Education, the Gambia, how are you going to unite the students?
Well, I believe the secretary general is the third in command. That is, before I do something, it is the responsibility of the president, the VP, together with the secretary. So I will make sure, because I am not here for students to vote for me in order for to go to the office and make bias. Understand? I am somebody that is straightforward. I am somebody that knows his responsibilities, his rules. So I am going to work based on the constitution of the UEG, University of Education, the Gambia.
Thank you so much for that. And then now to you, Mr. Jalo, I will repeat the same question. Like, in every election, the electorate are divided into different camps. And then, can you tell us, after assuming office, when you are elected as the Secretary General of this Student Teachers Association of University of Education, the Gambia, like how are you going to manage to reunite the students?
Thank you very much. That is to see how best students are united together. I will still go back to the policy that talks about, but then before I continue, thank you, Sanusi. Thank you. Because one thing I've seen is he copied directly when I found him watching your video in the morning. That is to say, the constitution, it's not, a policy that can be driven from it. It's a function. But the one thing you have to understand is you have to understand your functions. You can drive them from the constitution. Now to go back to the question, that is how best can I able to unite? Serving sub-associations or club does not mean those associations and clubs, they are party affiliated. For example, we have the peace ambassadors here. If you're serving as a member there, you have to resign if you're going to politics. So if I am serving them, does not mean I'm serving a political party. It means I am uniting that sub-association. The Red Cross, we continue. The SCS association or club that we have here, we remember it continue. So basically, I believe I can able to bring them together because the activities will be put into plan, and then I believe all students will be attending each other's activity that will bring harmony within them. I thank you.
Thank you so much for that. And then now this will lead us to the rebuter session, like question and answer session. You both have 5 minutes for that. Each of you have 5 minutes for that. You have 5 minutes to ask your question, and then his answer. Everything has to be 5 minutes. Like, you can go ahead with your question.
Thank you very much. Regarding my question, because I just have to connect it to the where we stopped earlier, that is talking about the functions. As a Secretary General, what the Section 44 talks about your responsibility. I want to know. Thank you.
Well, thank you so very much, Honorable. And before I answer that question, I will refer you back to what you have said. That is, you are thanking Mr. Sanusi. That is, I do not base my knowledge based on the Constitution. That is, I base my knowledge based on research. That is, the best learner is the best one who, the best person who have done research. Understand? So, coming to what you are saying, that is, regarding the UEG Constitution, I have not even, because these are responsibilities that I have learned since primary schools. So not necessary for me a whole puff the voice of dust going to the Constitution revealing such rules and responsibilities. It is, I think it is not necessary. A man of caliber like me should not even go to the Constitution. Thank you.
Thank you very much. I believe he is somebody that does not respect the Constitution, where he said a man caliber like him cannot go back to the Constitution, which the Constitution is the supreme law of the School of Education STA. There is UEG-STA Constitution. But then if you said you are like that high level person that cannot go with the Constitution, my brother, I wonder what type of human being you can be. Yes. And then my second question will be, I believe, can I continue?
Yeah, you can continue. You have your final question.
The same thing, I will still base it to the Constitution, that is Section 61. What does it say about your responsibility? Because one thing is, you cannot tell me you are Secretary General and then you don't know what are the role and responsibility of the Secretary General within the Constitution of UEG-STA, my brother. Thank you.
As I said earlier, there is the first answer that I have given you. So that is the answer that I'm going to stick to. Thank you.
I believe that answers your question.
It does not.
Yeah.
You just don't respect the Constitution as a Secretary General.
That's why now to you, Mr. You can ask your question. You have 5 minutes for that.
Well, thank you so very much, Mr. Moderator. Again, that is, I will have two tangible questions for my opponent. That is, after serving as a committee member in the Education Ministry, you decided to step away and vie for the President of the Secretary General. Now, my question is, how can you explain why you left those rules and responsibility? What unfinished responsible students can students be aware of? Because you left that responsibility and said you are going to vie for the President of the Secretary General.
Thank you very much. I believe what I said earlier is I serve as the Secretary General under the 9th Executive Council of Usman Koli. Whereas I was serving the Secretary General, if they have activity, I write their report, writing and everything, and then submit it to Secretary General. I thank you. I believe that was the role of a Secretary General, not an Education Minister. I thank you very much.
You can ask your final question.
Well, my final question is going to be based on, that is, regarding the education minister that you have served in. That is, you have served as a committee member. Once again, that is under the education ministry. Now, can you mention to the general student body one concrete policy or reform you personally initiate or push for that direct improvement for the students' welfare?
Thank you very much. I believe if you talk about a ministry, it's not just one president, it's a group of students. We call them a committee members. We're 8 in total. And then I believe if we are to talk, the education ministry under the leadership of Usman Koli, I thank him. We 100% conquer all the policies Honorable Usman brought forward. And then we believe we went to the extra step, whereas you yourself were affected, whereas you communicate to the education ministry, we start together and then see how best we can able to solve your problem. Thank you.
Thank you so much. I believe that answer your question, and then that lead us to the end of this session. I thank you all.
Okay.
This one is my brother.